Up next on the list is the GPP or Group Policy Preferences attack, also known as MS-14025. So a quick overview. The group policy preferences allowed admins to create policies using embedded credentials. Now, these credentials were encrypted and they were placed into an XML document and they were stored in this type called cPassword. Now, the cPassword was encrypted, as I said, and the key to this encryption was accidentally released. And so, therefore, we can decrypt it. Now, this has been patched in MS-14025 and prevents issues going forward. However, it does not prevent previous issues. So what that means is if an admin has stored a group policy preference embedded credential before the patch was implemented, then this will still display a credential to us. Now, most of the time, these credentials are domain admin credentials and will allow us access to domain admin accounts. This is not going to come up that often, but it is still something that you should be checking for because there are a lot of server 2012 machines out there, for example, that this was not patched on or has been patched, but this was running on previously. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover how to do this. And it's actually kind of difficult to set up in a lab environment. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use Hack the Box to attack this. Before we do that, I am going to reference an article here. Now, this article is by Rapid7, and I'm going to paste it down below, but this kind of shows you what GPP is and what the uses were. And you can see here that a password was stored. And if we scroll down quickly, we can see that the password was stored in the sysvol. So as long as we have a user account and we can read that sysvol, and it says here, any domain user, this is why this is a post-exploitation attack. Once we have a domain user, we can attempt to read this sysvol. It's stored here in the cPassword. You can see it. All we have to do is run a GPP decrypt, which is built into Kali, and it'll decrypt the password. Now, there is this SMB enum GPP here. This is a Metasploit module, and I really want you to write this down. This is how you would check for this. So you would say you have a shell in Metasploit. You can background that shell, run the SMB enum GPP, or you can run the post on the GPP and see if you can't enumerate this and gain a username and password similar to this before. I have seen this come up in previous assessments, and this is always something that you should be checking for, even if it's older. So from here, we're going to utilize Hack the Box. There's a machine on there called Active. We're going to use that, and it's got two great examples of what we just learned on here. So I'm going to challenge you once we get to the next video on solving half of the equation. We'll walk through the first half and talk about this GPP and see a live example of it. So I'm going to go ahead and catch you over in the next video when we explore this GPP attack.